Namaste everyone. So in Tamil Nadu, I've been working with temples for about 4 years now, and my understanding of the situation has changed from when I was just studying about it online to when I've actually been visiting rural areas and seeing the temples and seeing what's going on with renovation and restoration. So I consider myself very lucky to have been involved in this activity, but I also want to present some points of view, and this is 2024. So Tamil Nadu has around 1,50,000 temples by the count that I have, and around 37,000 of them are under the control of the Hindu Religious Endowments Board owned by the Tamil Nadu government. And so outside of these 37,000 temples, the rest of the 1,10,000 temples are 1,10,000 temples about are mostly Gram Devi, Gram Devta temples, local temples. That is the Mariyappan temple, the Ayyanar temple, the small Ganesh temple under the tree, under the peepal tree, things like this. So these temples are being taken care of locally because for two reasons. One of it is that these are community owned temples. They are small, they are community owned, and they have a history of having some local people take care. Like most of the Amman temples, the communities that took care of it were different from the communities that took care of the larger temples under the government control, and these communities and their beliefs are still intact. So most of these other 1,10,000 temples, we don't need to really worry about them. But the 40,000 temples of Tamil Nadu, which are really heritage temples, they've come down to us from thousands of years, from the Chola times and earlier. These temples have been under contest for a while now. From first the British took over because they again for the money, for the tax collection, and then the government has taken over for whatever politics it is that primarily the anti-Brahmin politics of Tamil Nadu that led them to take over these temples and keep them the way they do. Now, these temples are the point of our concern. So many of these temples, especially the Shiv temple and the Perumal temple, the Narayan temple, were how our traditional villages were made. Our traditional, not villages, traditional communities in Tamil Nadu were made. From the times of the kings. So the traditional establishment of the village was that there will be a Shiv temple on one side of the road, a Narayan temple on the other side of the road, and there will be what is called the Agrahara street in between, where the Brahmins will stay who take care of the temples. And then there are many other roads for different castes. And then, basically that's the sort of traditional formation of the temple structure, because the caretakers, there's also of the Mela Karathir, one more of the roads which are right next to the temples, for the Mela Karathir, which is where the temple dancers and the temple musicians were. So the Tamil villages were organized as temple communities, and the people who were the first caretakers of the temples were very close, and then the rest of the community spread out around that. And this you would see not just in one, you would see this in 8,000 villages of Tamil Nadu, you would see a similar structure. Now with the ending of the Tamil Brahmins, or almost the ending of the Tamil Brahmin community in Tamil Nadu, most of the Agraharas, the streets in which the caretakers were, the priests lie abandoned. Some of them have been sold to the richest people, the people who could afford them the most, which is Muslims. So at least in a few temples that I personally went and visited, there were not just were the Shiva temples lying abandoned, but Shiva temples were surrounded by different religious practitioners who would with their different food habits, etc., etc. And so a lot of the Agraharas are empty, almost empty. There may be one left, but many of them are abandoned. And so the caretakers of the big Shiva and Vishnu temples are gone. And they are gone for primarily the reason that they couldn't get any money from the taking care of these temples, and they were dependent on it for food. And so the government takeover of the temples led to the large scale emigration of the priests who were caretakers of the temples into big cities like Chennai, Mumbai, and then currently out of the country to California primarily, and Texas, I think. So that's the status of the caretakers of the temples. Now the temples themselves, did the Tamil Nadu government take care of them? No. Only for the richer temples, around 200 of them, the Tamil Nadu government has taken active interest, but thousands of them are lying abandoned, and these are our heritage. And because they've been abandoned for 40-50 years, there are a lot of growth of weeds. The tanks are being given, temple tanks are being given to fishing. Fishermen are using, the holy pond is being used by fishermen. So there's a lot of breakdown, and hardly pujas are hardly on, because as I said, the caretakers, the priests have left. So the very many temples, are at least around 10,000, 11,000 of them, are in a very, very bad state of very, very bad state of basically what is the word, very, very bad state physically. Now suddenly there's energy, because basically there's awareness, like people travel to these remote temples, take photographs and put it on WhatsApp. So then the Tamil people are getting to be aware, like, look, I mean, what, this heritage is lying like this. So then there's some sort of civil society is wanting to step in and see what they can do in the temple. And the same thing is pressuring the government, pressuring the Hindu Religious Endowments Board to also step in and do something about the temples. Now, both these parties, some civil society and some Hindu Religious Endowments Boards, are now interested in reviving these 11,000 temples. But but what is happening is that there is not enough knowledge on how to revive them, or patience. Basically, knowledge and patience are missing. The HRCE, the Hindu Religious Board, is advertising for donors. They don't want to pay out of the wealth they connect from the richer temples, because that's used for salaries and benefits and air conditioning for the employees of the HRCE. There's no money left to actually maintain temples. So to bring back, revive, restore the broken down temples, the HRCE advertises for donor money, and often mostly people from abroad, Singapore, Malaysia, send some money, 1 crore, 2 crore, etc., which is then supposed to be used to restore the temple. Okay, that's one. The same with civil society. A few temples that sort of suddenly you realize, this is my hometown, especially some of the Brahmins. They realize, oh, this is my village, and 2 generations ago my parents lived here, I want to do something for the temple. But not just the Brahmins, other communities who wants to restore village temples which have been taken over by HRC. They are the ones who bring in the donors. So there's civil society also which is bringing in the donors. These two people have now money, some of them, and they want to go restore the temple. But restoration is not happening. Destruction is happening, because they don't know any different. They take out, for example, there was a temple today that I came to know, where they had beautiful murals, literally paintings from 5,000 years ago, 500 years ago. Brick temple, 500 years ago, paintings were there. Now, 1 year ago, some civil society wanted to redo the temple. Now today I am hearing from them that the temple has been completely painted over. So although all the murals are gone, 500 years old art has just vanished under the renovation work done by the civil society. They didn't have any awareness to treat it gently, just no awareness, no knowledge of how to do it, no patience, because they all want to do the Kumbhabhishekam and show to everybody, look, I have done the Kumbhabhishekam, So the aesthetics of it, the heritage value, all of this is really getting destroyed, and quite quickly. So I don't know if it is worse that the temples were just left untouched for 50-60 years and they all decrepit, or if these new energy that's coming from the HRC and the civil society is causing more damage. Likely the second, because here the heritage totally disappears while we have no opportunity to go and correct it. So somewhere it's again I mean, because everything is God, it's again, unfortunately, it looks like gods have been kind and are welcoming us back to the temples, but it's really, again, that's a maya, that's a delusion. I really am starting to think that it's still that the God is punishing us and making the heritage of their own temple, our ancestors' hard work, design, art disappear right before our eyes. So this is currently the situation in 2024. We desperately need a body which is which teaches the public, makes the public aware of how to restore temples, and at the moment I don't know how that will come up.